Welcome to Tar Heel Studio. My name is Kendall Kessler. No, I didn't forget to take everything off my battery, as in the past. Sometimes I've had a beginning of the painting at the beginning of the YouTube because I forgot to do that. I did remember this time. I want to do something really complicated, so I decided to do one layer, and then I wouldn't be having to look at the white conflicting with colors, and then just go from there. I'm probably going to completely cover this. I don't know. I really don't have an idea what I'm doing this time. I just want to do something that is, as I said, music without words, which I put into my Center of My Mind collection. I'm going to be using a small brush, and I'm just going to see what happens. I want to really get complicated, which is the main reason for using a small brush. I don't want to just cover the surface. I want to really let things happen and just react to the colors and not have any real preconceived idea. As I said before, I don't have a lot of these. It's not really what I do. I mean, I like to do what people call abstract art, but it's really not that much for me. I prefer to work from the Blue Ridge, and then I do a lot of other things too. Done a lot of commissions. There's a lady now that's interested in me doing one of her house and the dock, and I'm always available for that. But I love to do florals. I'm just about done with my latest floral that started out so awful. Was not happy at all, and I was real surprised when it just took a turnaround and then started to become very interesting. Just want to again mention to people that haven't watched my YouTubes and maybe never heard this, a lot of people don't understand this kind of art, and they think artists are just kind of doing something silly to fool the public, which is not at all true. It's just as intense as what we call representational art, and it's really very similar. All art is a reaction to color, texture, arrangement of shape, so forth. But I prefer to get an inspiration from nature initially, and then lots of times I completely change it. Not really getting a whole lot of what I was hoping to see, but well, keep on going here. There's a really good movie that expressed how I approach my artwork. It was on Pollock, and it starred Ed Harris and Marcia Gay Harden. And I thought they did a really good job. And at one point, Pollock was trying to really develop something that did not come from any recognizable shapes. That was truly a reaction to just the way it looks, the way he made it look, and to get an exciting surface that way. And at one point, Marcia, who's playing Lee Krasner, his wife, said, you really got to work from nature. You got to get your ideas from nature. And he got irritated and said, oh, why don't you paint it? She was an artist too. I thought that was real cute. Of course, it's just a movie. But I thought that's really cute. You paint it. But anyway, I have to agree with her. When I do this, I just, after a while, just kind of run out of ideas. I don't keep progressing like I do with my representational work. But the good thing about this is, as I said before, if you like it because of the way I did it. You don't like it because it looks like a horse, or you like it because it looks like a horse, or so forth and so on. It's a car. Oh, I like it because it's a car. You just have to react to it as what we call pure art. And I always like to say, I know I've said this before, but I always like to emphasize, not better. There may be artists that think it is better. I disagree. It's just art without distractions. A purely visual experience. Well, I don't know. Getting more complicated, but not as much as I wanted to. I haven't gone very long, so I'm glad I did do a first layer. I don't have any really dark colors on my palette. I did for the first layer. I may regret that. Don't know. Don't have a really good idea going. I am just reaction to the color, and I wanted to do that, but I also like to have some kind of idea of the effect I want. So I think the dark background, though, is pretty interesting. It's making these colors kind of jump out and also giving different levels of the spacing. Kind of developing a focal point right towards the middle, which any art teacher will tell you is not such a great idea. But you got to watch those rules. You really do. Always made sure I did that when I taught. Watch those rules. You know, they're pretty good in a lot of ways, and they can be helpful, but they can also keep you from coming up with something that is uniquely you, that is your direction. It's very hard to teach art. It's so easy to get the students into what you like and not what they like. And it's a very difficult thing. But I enjoy doing it. I did it for 20 years at Radford University. And I felt like I did a good job of letting them come up with their ideas, their direction, their level of abstraction. Even though I forced the ones in basic design class to only work this way, so that they didn't get into their personal biases. They didn't get into anything but how it looks. The basis for all art, architecture, interior design, all these things, just how it looks. And that's what you have to do when you see something like this. Well, this, it's different. I don't want to repeat myself. I'm probably just going to do one more of these and then get back to my skyline paintings, because, as I said, it's not really my thing. I don't know if Lee Krasner ever said that or not, but yeah, I like having my stimulus from nature. I like to enlarge on nature. Not really trying to completely reproduce it, but I like to get my ideas from it and then go from there. I think I mentioned this before. Hopper once said that he was best when he improvised. I understand exactly what he means. You start from something and then you elaborate according to your personality. It's real hard to explain. It's like I told Art of Preach students, you got to do this stuff. To understand it, you really got to do it. And what always bothered me, and I've run into this many times, is people trying to explain it to me. It's trying to say, that, why do artists do what I'm doing right now? That's just not art. I mean, that's just, what's the point of that? And what really always bothered me is when I tried to explain it, they wouldn't even listen. They would just get angry. Like, give me a break. I think you'd probably be listening if I was trying to explain physics to you, or algebra or something. You might be listening. But because it's art, it's got to be your way. That I don't understand. But I need to get off of that, because I do tend to overreact too much to what people say. Always have. I think that's part of being an artist. We really react. Okay, now it is getting more complicated. I'm starting to like it better. There is an artist on Linked, I can't remember her name and don't have her permission to talk about her, so I'm not going to, who does some really complicated non-objective paintings. I don't think I've seen her do anything but what we call non-objective, which doesn't have any precise subject matter. They are really good. I mean, she's really into it. It's obviously her life. They are so complicated. Okay. I don't know. I also do, I know I've mentioned this before, suggestions paintings, where if something starts to show up, I go with it, and I really like doing that. It's a great exercise for an intensely visually oriented person, where you see something and just pull it out as I'm painting. Okay, yeah, I like getting it more complicated. I don't care if that whole background goes. That was just to get started, because I did want something that really had a lot going on, with the linear qualities and the textural qualities, and just really building up a surface. So I probably am going to get rid of the entire background. But I want it to just be this. I don't want to have to go back into it again. I want to just stop with this YouTube and then say it's done. And well, now it's starting to get some interesting things going. That may not make sense depending on who you are, but it's starting to get some interesting things going on. which I'm liking. A lot of interesting line effects played off of smaller areas, which is what, as I said, that's all art is. A lot of people think artists just go out there and they just start painting what they see, and sometimes that's true, but usually it's after a lot of consideration of how that's going to fit into a conceived space. So they decide all those things and make a lot of decisions on that, and then they start thinking about the value structure and the textures and all these things that I'm thinking about right now. I really like that linear effect around, going around in a kind of a circle. But it is, in most cases, so much more calculated than people realize. And it gets more and more complicated the more you paint. I know when I first started out, it wasn't nearly as complicated as it is now. And now it's like, whoa, all the time I put into one painting. Now these YouTube ones, because I'm using acrylics and dries real fast and I can move along real quick, not. But my oil paintings, a long time. I'm so glad I'm getting to the end of my latest floral. Yeah, I was starting to think this is interesting, because it was a lot of time, and I'm really looking forward to putting it up in my portfolio. Yeah, I'm really glad I did that background. I think that is helping me to get a different look from most of my other center of my mind paintings. And I don't mind one bit that I'm kind of going over most of it. I'm going to do a whole lot more. As I said, you get to a point where, well, do I stop? Do I keep going? I'm going to lose what I've got if I keep going. And that's always that. Wish I hadn't stopped. Wish I hadn't kept going. So it's always difficult. One of the main complaints that artists have. I remember a teacher saying to me, "You're going to be working on yours forever, aren't you?" So I really did. I would go over them and over and over them. And then, after destroying a lot of them, and really starting to feel like I was starting to get what I wanted, I stopped destroying them and let them live. And I have learned how to do that. So I know that although it's not true that all artists are nuts. I mean, just because poor Van Gogh had a history of mental illness in his family, everybody thinks artists are nuts. But it's not true. But I do believe it can drive you nuts. You can just get so far into this, trying to get something that you don't really ever achieve. As I said before, then it'd be boring. That it can drive you kind of crazy. I don't really think that was what's happened to Van Gogh. I think that, as I said, there's a history of mental illness in his family. But who knows? And I'm sure there are plenty of people that argue with me and say, yeah, all artists are nuts. Well, I'm a very serious artist, and I don't think I'm nuts. But I've had so many people say that to me. Yeah, you're an artist, you're crazy. Well, sorry you're not crazy like me. I really love my life. And I love it when people purchase it and let it live, because I can't take them with me. So it's a lot of time on the internet. I really like this kind of lime area that's coming out. I was going to change that, but I think that gives it kind of an electric quality, so I might put a little more of that, and then I think I'm going to say it's done. I don't want to lose all this contrast I'm getting. See, now it's getting to the point where it's getting really complicated, and do I want to keep it the way it is, or am I going to lose it? This is when it's very tricky. But I am going to try real hard to just leave it and not go back into it. I think I'll do a little more blue greens, playing off of that really yellow green. And then I'm going to say the end. Put it in my portfolio and be proud. It is quite a discipline, even though I love what I do. It's still quite a discipline to do this. I mean, sometimes it's about the last thing I want to do. But to achieve what you want and to keep progressing, you have to have some discipline, just like playing a musical instrument. And I can certainly say that with authority because I play my piano every day. And I get paid to play, which is great. And that's hard too, because being really involved in art and music is difficult. But it is great to be able to play for people. First, I could not do it. I was just shaking like a leaf. And I was shaking like a leaf for a long time. And I finally got past that. And now I'm nervous. I'm sure there's not a musician in the world that isn't real nervous every time they play. But I can do it. But that shaking was something else. I'm not kidding. Just like a leaf. I was trying to get this really good vocalist, really fantastic singer who lives near me, across the street, to sing at our church because he is so good. And he wouldn't even do it. I haven't sung before an audience, and I was trying to convince him, saying, I know, I was shaking like a leaf too. But after a while, you kind of like it, and you want to do it. And I haven't convinced him yet. I hope I can, because he really is good. I heard him sing, and I was like, wow. He plays the guitar too very well. It's a very, very sensitive music. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm going to start killing what I've already got. So I'm going to have to just maybe put a few dots in, a little more contrast, and quit. Oh, this is always the hard part. Is it done? Is it done? Or am I going to kill it? Any painters out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's an area in here that I just want to kind of enhance a little bit. And let's see if I just do that without changing it too much. Because I like the way it is. No, I think I better. Let's see. I want to keep it having that bleeded look that it has. I know a lot of what I'm saying just makes absolutely no sense. What if you painted? Okay, that's definitely one of the more complicated center of my mind paintings that I've done. And I'm going to try real hard. Okay, one more thing. I want to do a little bit more with the red accents, and then I'm going to quit. I've already gone 17 minutes. Definitely want to quit. I don't like these to be more than like 20 minutes. Used to be it took forever to put one up on YouTube. I don't know what they've done, but God, it's a lot faster. One this long would take all day long. Okay, I have got to quit or I'm going to ruin this. It's going to lose what it's got. Thank you for watching. Be sure to click on the link in the description to see the final painting. I might change it, hopefully not. I'm going to try to tear myself away from it. And also there's a link to my website, my work on Etsy, and other sites.